One of the biggest misconceptions relating to how we derive knowledge is the concept of proof. Frequently people say there's no proof for this, there's no proof for that, or they may argue and request proof for something that is really not provable. And what is proof? First of all, we have a very large misunderstanding when it comes to the word itself and what it means in science. To prove something implies certainty. Certainty implies 100% confidence. Okay, what that all means. If I say to you that I'm going to prove to you something, it implies that I'm 100% certain, that I can demonstrate to you with 100% confidence that what I'm going to prove will always hold true. It is true now, it was true in the past, and it will be true in the future. You can very quickly see that is not possible. Proof is somewhat relevant, and when we use statistical methodology, the best we can do is 99.9%. Now, this is great. If I'm 99.9% certain about something, then that's a pretty good proof. It is not 100%. Why? Because 100% is unattainable. It is not possible to show you 100% of any event. Let's say, for example, some statements that you might read. You might read a review, and the review might say that Samsung make the best televisions. Okay? This is actually an opinion. Even if it has some data related to it, what alerts me to the simple fact it's an opinion? It uses the word best. Best means that it was tested against all similar products everywhere in the world and was found to be superior to all of them. Not only that is not likely, but in order to perform such a test, it's highly unlikely. Again, that will mean that I'm going to test my Samsung television against every television on the planet. Not against every brand, but against every television. Because potentially, I could have a product or an idea or a concept that by itself, it is not great. When you look at the totality of it, that product, when you ask people that own it, is not doing very good. It is not performing. People are unhappy with it. And yet, the one that I own is just fantastic. I have no problems with it. It does what I expect it to do. It doesn't fail. Based on that alone, my experience, I cannot make a claim that this product is universally good. In order for the product to be determined as good, we need to evaluate it over and over again, and we need to look at similar products throughout the spectrum. And if all of them, all the ones we tested, perform at a high level, now we can make a statistical determination and say, okay, this product actually performs well. And we actually can assign a statistical significance to this statement. All statements, when they're scientific and they are related to factual information, all our statements have a certain amount of validity associated with them. That is called the confidence. How confident are we that our statement is true? In general, that is a number that varies. You know, in business, we are very comfortable with 95% confidence. In science, we shoot for 99.9, and that is usually the case with medicine and aviation. Why? Because a failure in medicine and aviation can have really severe implications, where a failure in business does not have the same severity of the implication. So then, what does it mean to be 95% confident? First of all, it's pretty good. If I do not use statistical methodology, my confidence will be at 50%. What does that mean? Chance. What does that mean? Something is either good or bad. Something will either happen or will not happen. You can see immediately. I cannot really make decisions when something is a chance. If I go to the store and I see a brand of a television that I'm interested in, and it is equally likely that the television will break as soon as I take it home as it is that it will not break, I cannot really make a decision. But if I have a confidence of 95%, now I can take it home and feel rather good. What does it mean? Well, at first glance, it means that 95 out of 100 of those TVs are guaranteed to not fail. My confidence is high, and I know that if I choose any 100, 95 will be good. How about the other 5%? And this is where people make mistakes as a rule. That other 5% does not automatically means that the other products will have problems. Doesn't mean that 95% of the products will be great and 5% will fail. Guess what? 100% of the products might succeed. 100% of the products might be fantastic. However, what that 95% means is I cannot make a statement other than my guarantee that 95 out of 100 work. So even if I do a trial and 100% work, my confidence will remain 95. I can guarantee 95 will work, even if 100% did work. That's my confidence, right? And depending on how I design something, depending on how I execute the design, my confidence can be higher or lower. In general, a confidence lower than 80% doesn't have much value. If someone gives you 100% confidence, run away from them. They're lying to you, or they're not understanding what they say. For most business applications, you're looking at 95%. A lot of engineering things tend to be around 97, 98, 99%. And the problem, why we don't get things to 99.9? You know, as I said before, that's the highest we can do. Okay, why stop at 95%? Why not build everything at 99.9? Well, the problem there is cost. Let's take a car. It is cheaper for a manufacturer to actually repair 5% of the cars that happen to fail than institute procedures that will ensure that 99.9% of the cars will not fail. In other words, the manufacturing of such car, while possible, is prohibitively expensive. And instead of the average car costing $20,000, the average car might cost $500,000. Clearly, you can see the problem there, because it is cheaper for the manufacturer to offer a warranty and replace defective product rather than perfect the process of generating the product. We see that 95% is a very good compromise, still a very high success rate, and in most of the cases, some protection exists for a period of time after you purchase a product or you make a statement relating to how good the product or the statement is. So when we're talking about proof, we're talking about relative proof. Absolute proof is called certainty, and certainty really does not exist. We cannot achieve that. I hope this was useful.